Donkey Kong Bonanza is a sign that God is real, as there's no way Nintendo would have made a game like this 10 years ago. 2015 Nintendo would have looked at a game like this and went, pop, where's the Mega Mushroom? But they are a new Nintendo. For better or worse. Not to say they didn't make any bangers back then, not at all. Fucking half the Wii U era is like half the Switch's library. But they made very safe games. Something like Mario 3D World is a great game, but it doesn't reinvent 3D Mario games at all. It's just a good, solid, level-to-level 3D platformer. Or another example would be Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Again, a great game, but it's more refining DK Country Returns than refining DK as a whole. But then came 2017, and with the release of the Nintendo Switch, it seemed like Nintendo was more open to trying new ideas of all their older franchises. Between Breath of the Wild being an entire new take on Zelda, or more importantly to this video, Mario Odyssey, which saw Mario going back to his 3D roots in more open world-like areas and a bigger focus on collecting things, gave me a lot of hope, as it tried going for a more grand world adventure like feeling, and I think it did an amazing job at it. And while I don't know if I could definitively say it's better than a game than the likes of Mario Galaxy, I can say I personally prefer it, and I think it did a great job of reinventing 3D Mario games. I still love you, 3D World. And the Switch gave lots of new life to tons of Nintendo franchises. However, I heard many people ask during the Switch's lifespan where was a new DK game, as all we got was a new funky version of Tropical Freeze, and they just said fuck it, have this like 7 years after, cause why not? But then came the March 2025 Switch 2 presentation, where they revealed like 300 third-party games are coming to Switch 2 for some reason, and not handy randy. But it ended with exactly what we all wanted. Boom! Not only did we get a new DK game, it's a 3D one, and we haven't got one of them since the one with Chunky Kong in it, and that was so long ago that bastard's dead! And to be honest, the reveal was more exciting for the idea of a new 3D DK game more than what the trailer actually impressed me. I just thought it looked like Mario Odyssey just with Donkey Kong, and it didn't have a real catch, but I still thought the game looked good and I wanted to keep up with it. So when they had their DK Bananza Direct last year and I watched it, and this Direct was amazing! Now the game went from looking like a 3D platformer with DK in it to a love letter to Donkey Kong fans. And the story of all things just seems so interesting to me, with DK going on a journey to the center of the planet with a younger version of Pauline, and all the little references made it look like a labour of love to the entire franchise, even the classic Rare ones, which Nintendo wasn't the best at representing after Rare stopped making games for them. It looked to be doing what Odyssey did for the Mario franchise, just this time for Donkey Kong, but the whole lead up to the game from the Direct had me asking, will it be better than Mario Odyssey? Well, after 100% in the entire game, I think I have my answer. But I also want to look at the game on its own merits first, so I'll answer that question at the very end. So you, yeah, you, don't go anywhere or else he's coming for you. Who's coming for you, you might ask? Well, you better keep watching to find out. The story of DK Bananza is as simple as a Mario Universe 3D platformer as you'd expect, but kinda similar to Odyssey, it's got the production values to make you think it's got more going on than it has. And I just wanted to let you guys know I'll have a spoiler warning pop up for the late game stuff, starting whenever it happens, okay? Okay, nice. But anyway, what is the story? Well, our main character Donkey Kong is a gorilla who wants bananas.
Oh, no way!
So our titular monkey's quest brings him to Ingot Isle, an insanely creative idea as it's a giant mine shaft filled with other monkeys mining for gold and bananas. But when an evil mining corporation called Voidco attacks the mines and causes a massive cave-in, DK finds a mysterious purple rock that he agrees to let travel with him as he digs deeper into the mines to find more bananas. And as he continues to dig down, it leads him immediately into the lagoon layer, where he meets a giant monkey god who breaks the purple rock shell, revealing a young girl called Pauline. And this is where my map pad embedded brain started making all sorts of theories, as Pauline was the name of the girl that got kidnapped in the DK arcade game, but that was Cranky Kong who kidnapped her. But Mario saved her, but that was actually Jumpman, so she's a child. But then the elder god teaches DK and Pauline the power of Bananza, which gives DK a powerful transformation through Pauline's singing. He then tells them if they keep digging down, they could reach the planet's core, which apparently has an item that could grant both their wishes. So DK and Pauline set off so she can get a platform for her love of singing, and DK can get them bananas. But always on their tail is Voidco, made up of my mate's dad, Booby Kong 2, and Little Bastard Kong, who are apparently the ones who trapped Pauline in the rock in the first place, as they need her singing for some mysterious reason. Now to go more in depth about what works, I love Donkey Kong and Pauline's friendship. When I first saw them together in the trailers, I was a bit like, ugh, how is this gonna work with the established dynamic of these two? But their friendship is so cute. And the game doesn't need to give us lengthy cutscenes that go on too long to show it off. Like when you first clear a world and do a little victory dance, Pauline is trying her best to imitate DK, but as the worlds go on she gets better and perfects it. Aww. Or when they both go to bed and she talks to him while he's sleeping, oh my god, I love these. Too many cute interactions. And our main villains, Voidcore, a great group of scrimblow bimbos, with their leader Void being such a fun little bastard, who's too well voice acted for just being a bunch of Banjo-Kazooie noises, and his underlings Poppy Kong and my mate's dad bounce off Donkey Kong really well too. My mate's dad makes a fun, sort of gruff, tough, almost rival character for DK, and Poppy becomes such a queen when she starts helping our two leads in the later half of the game. And look at this cute ass loading screen with her and Pauline. Aww. And the game has a lot of cool references to the entire DK mythos as well. And it's all scattered throughout the game, and I don't want to start making a theory or anything, but the game drops a lot of cool nuggets to sort of let you make your own conclusion on how Pauline's here. But I gotta talk about the ultimate callback of callbacks, but unfortunately, the ultimate callback of callbacks is a massive spoiler territory, so I'm giving you to this timestamp to skip to this moment in time to skip all the spoilers, okay? Okay? Nice! So when DK and Pauline reach the planet core, they end up realizing the only way they can get their wishes granted is by Pauline singing, activating this Bananza root, which is what grants the wishes. But as she releases the root, little bastard Kong makes a run for it like a fat bastard to an all-you-can-eat buffet. But just as he's about to reach it, oh! They bring back motherfucking, banana stealing, Kremlin ruling, wife avoiding, king, motherfucking K-Rool baby! And he's back! And my pants are soaked. This moment right here made this the greatest story in any game this year. Expedition who? Mafia who gives a fuck country? And it just goes to show how much Nintendo has evolved in game development. That they would be okay bringing back a character they didn't create, because they know what he means to Donkey Kong, and K-Rool makes for a sick-ass final villain in this game. He's goofy as hell and so funny, but he's still got the aura and menace around him, and I'll talk about it here as I don't want to go into too many spoiler warnings, but goddamn his boss fight has got to be one of the best boss fights in a Nintendo 3D platformer. Such a great final boss in that Gangplank Galleon remix, mwah, chef's kiss. And on top of everything, the ending is just beautiful. Donkey Kong and Pauline's farewell to each other and seeing Pauline know that she's gonna be okay in her own now, and let DK go achieve his dream is a brilliant way to end this adventure. And even though they didn't really get their wishes granted, it still feels like we really accomplished something in this adventure, and you know Pauline is gonna achieve that dream singing for the world one day. And I 100%ed this game, so DK got a lot of fucking bananas. So it's not complex by any means, but this game is such a love letter to Donkey Kong fans that it banana slams us out of the park for me. But this game is a 3D collectathon at the end of the day, so what it really needs is great worlds to explore, so I should really start talking about Donkey Kong Bananza's level design feels like a mix of the level design of Mario Odyssey with the feeling of the bit of Banjo-Kazooie sort of mixed in there. And to jump the gun a bit, I think Donkey Kong Bananza both improved on Mario Odyssey's biggest issue when it comes to collecting things, while also having a personal nitpick of its own. You see, in Mario Odyssey, you don't really have a big satisfying yes moment when you collect a moon, as the game hands out moons for fucking everything. You water a plant, boom, you get a moon. You ground pound the ground, oh fuck, hey, it's a moon. Oh hey, I just took a fat shit in the toilet, would you look what came out? The moon! So you never felt as rewarded for finding them, as 90% of the moons were just lying around, and I don't personally mind that design philosophy of having collectibles everywhere, as my ass enjoys finding shit. But I still would have preferred some more unique challenges. But Donkey Kong Bananza perfectly blends the Odyssey style with the older collectathon style, as while there still is tons of shit to collect, I found most of them were collected by doing some sort of challenge, whether it was a platforming challenge, a boss battle, a bonus room, or one of these Bananza form challenges which are all over the main world. And it's so fun to see a door lead into a bonus challenge, but I'm in the middle of doing something else, so I'll go, I'll come back later. And then I go back later and the bonus room is a fucking recreation of the very first DK country level. I wish y'all could have seen my face. And something that also really helps this game is just how good DK is to control. Everything from how great the combat is, to how perfect his weight feels and all of his movements, to the climbing. And damn, he moves as smooth as me on the dance floor. But due to the game's amazing physics, it almost feels like you're not even restricted by anything. It feels like Donkey Kong is in a sandbox you can do whatever the hell you want with. Like, look at this amazing footage I stole from Video Game Mule.
I don't need that anyway. Zipline is for amateurs.
God damn, I could see this game being a speedrunner's wet dream of how open it is. And on top of how great Donkey Kong is to play as normally, the game gives him the best abilities in any 3D platformer. These 5 Bananza forms of monkey, zebra, ostrich, elephant, and not only look fantastic, they give Donkey Kong even more tools to make these worlds his own oysters. With the Monkey Bananza, Donkey Kong finally learned how to tap into Super Saiyan 4, and you can just take out like a 10th of the map with a single charge punch, and it makes boss fights nothing. It's so awesome to use. Moving on, we have the which has the best transformation song in this game bar none, and when the game gives you a level that can really utilize its speed and ability to travel on certain surfaces, the zebra is a blast to use, but I think it could have really used more challenges designed for it. Now we have the ostrich, which might be my favourite. It essentially lets you fly and glide around the whole world, and because of how massive most of these worlds are in the game, I got a lot of use out of it, and it feels like a dream to control. Next we got my mate's mother, and her abilities are so much fun to use. She can essentially suck up an entire level and just use all the different substances she sucks up as attacks. It also made for a lot of fun puzzles, though sometimes she'd hit the frame rate harder than DK hits the levels. And finally we got the snake, who might have my favourite design of the lot, and it was also really fun to use. It basically gives DK two massive back-to-back jumps that made for a lot of fun challenges. And I love using the snake to get up high and switch to the ostrich to fly around. They even move the snake next to ostrich when you unlock it, meaning I can just insta-switch between the two. So yeah, I adored all of these. They give Donkey Kong the greatest base moveset in any 3D platformer, and because you have them at all times as opposed to say Odyssey's capture transformations, it just makes you feel so powerful. But how fun DK is to play as wouldn't matter if the worlds weren't fun or interesting to explore, and I'm happy as hell to say these are some of my favourite worlds in a Nintendo 3D platformer. And while most of them look basic Nintendo worlds at a glance, you know, forest, ice, beach, desert, etc., they take those basic ideas and inject them with personality. For example, you might just think this is another basic desert level in a Nintendo platformer, but it's actually a massive corrupt mining outpost with a giant underground machine powering everything. Or this ice world halfway through becomes a lava world the deeper you dig. I just love shit like this. Or even if they don't have a crazy change up when you dig deeper, say like this beach world, they're still just so fucking fun to explore. I loved climbing higher and higher in the giant beach world and flying up using the rainbow ground. And I love the lagoon world as well, such a great opening world and a lot of fun figuring out how to get the path to the Elder. And the lake game has some really unique worlds in there as well. A stormy volcano, a crystal world covered in darkness that you have to brighten up, and a fast food themed amusement park. Oh my god, the Feast Slayer is a top 3 best world in a 3D collectathon. And I don't want to spoil what happens the deeper you go in this world, but it is such a cool sudden change up. Now, to be fair, while I love basically all the main worlds, there are some smaller worlds that I think have some wasted potential. Like this garbage layer doesn't really offer anything besides slamming down for 5 minutes, and this race layer that brings back Diddy and Dixie back was a big disappointment. They make this whole Rambi racing minigame just for it to be one race that doesn't even give you a banana for beating it. Kinda a waste of time, but other than that I was having a blast the entire time playing through these worlds. Now my last thing to say about the core game design is admittedly a bit of a nitpick, but for like the first 12 years of my life I only played platformers. Let me be an annoying bitch, damn it. And that annoying bitch nitpick is that I don't like how meaningless the bananas actually feel to collect. So, and while I love the skill tree and upgrading DK is really cool, but because you ultimately don't need bananas to progress through the main story and to get from world to world, it kinda devalues them to me. Like when you get a moon for nothing in Odyssey and you don't even really feel like you did anything to get it, it's still just cool to see yourself getting closer to hitting the moon quota to go on to the next world to see what it has to offer. And if Bananza had some sort of, oh, your belly isn't full enough DK to go on to the next world, it would really nail the full satisfaction of finding these MacGuffins. But ultimately, that is just a nitpick. The worlds in this game are a joy to explore, DK is a blast to play as, and I had a great time collecting all 777 bananas. But wanna know what made it even better? Donkey Kong Bananza's OST is up there as one of the most batshit insane soundtracks I've ever heard, and I love it! If the original Donkey Kong trilogy has this beautiful atmospheric OST that makes every level feel like a surreal fucking cinematic experience, then Bananza has to be like smoking weed with Will Smith at a fiesta. Not to say the game doesn't have any more relaxed ambient-like music. Like the sinkhole theme that plays whenever you're diving to another world has such a beautiful slow melody that makes you wonder what kind of layer you're going to end up in. Shit's so relaxing it could put me to sleep quicker than playing Fallout 3. Then you actually land in something like the lagoon layer and you get hit with a... Damn, this world gives off so much positive ass vibes that it instantly made me go, oh yeah, this gonna be a good game. And don't get me started on the funky ass groove layer theme. Damn, this was one of the most unexpected but awesome parts of this adventure for me. A world looking straight out of Portal where DK and Pauline have been separated and I have to get used to not having all my Bananza transformations. But despite all that sad shit that happens at the start of the world, the true theme of this world is straight out of Splatoon and it sounds great. But the game is more than its world themes, as the game has some good ass boss themes too. Shame you don't really get to hear them because DK knocks these cunts out quicker than Prime Tyson on speed, so you don't really get to hear them, but if you listen to them on your own time you'll hear they're kinda a banger. And I can't bring up boss themes and not bring up Void Kong's final theme. Because he can't be annihilated in 2 seconds, you actually get to hear it! A really fitting theme for the little bastard. And I don't want to have another spoiler tag pop up, so I'll say this cryptically, I guess. But the boss of the Forbidden Lair had one of the sickest remixes of all time. The way how it starts off sounding like it's just going to be the original theme unchanged, then the guitar hits you like an elephant, had my pants soaked. But out of all this game's soundtracks, it's time I address the elephant in the room. Haha. Anyway, the Bananza themes. They have to be a gift from some sort of god. I mean, come on. These songs are so fucking good for just a lot of gibberish. And I used the Bananza forms any chance I got, so I was listening to these for nearly my whole playthrough. I love the monkey one, it has such an awesome raw intensity to it, like Pauline destroying the entire map alongside DK. The zebra one, which is probably my favourite, is this awesome Mexican music inspired sombre that's oddly kinda epic. Next, I love the ostrich one. It has this bouncy positive energy to it that makes me feel like I'm free and flying around. The Elephant Bananza theme is admittedly my least favourite, but it's still a good bouncy song, and many people have pointed out kinda sounds like the Croods theme, probably because of Rams and Grub. It also has some of the only lyrics I can actually understand. Last we got the snake theme, and it's also great. It's this almost Egyptian sounding rap that I noticed DK bounces to the beat of. This OST is something else, dudes. I don't know how all 5 Bananza themes are standouts, and how they all sound so different from each other. None of them sound the same, and made every one of DK's fantastic transformations even more epic. But there's one song even better than all the Bananza theme, a song that recontextualizes how you see one of Nintendo's most classic songs. The original Donkey Kong arcade jingle is probably the 3rd most iconic Nintendo song. It's been remixed God knows how many times, and it's been added upon so much from the little 15-second jingle it started off as, especially the Donkey Kong Country main theme version. But if you actually look back at its origins, it started off as a villain song. It started off as the theme for a giant gorilla who kidnaps women and throws barrels at fat middle-aged men. But this game's main theme, Heart of Gold, which is sung by Pauline, takes that original arcade theme and remixes it into a beautiful emotional ballad that once it plays in-game will make you cry like a little bitch. And the rest of the song is an insanely catchy emotional piece about Donkey Kong and Pauline's journey to the center of the planet and what her friendship with him means to her, and get me kinda emotional. So I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It's got great variety and some catchy bangers and a beautiful main theme that pays tribute to the character of Donkey Kong's roots fantastically. Now I'd like to talk about some little things that I couldn't really fit anywhere else. For starters, this game is absolutely stunning. All the worlds look beautiful, and it's helped by how great the character animations are in this game. And everyone's already talked about how good DK's facial animations are, but everyone in this game is so expressive, especially Void. He's so fucking good. And all of this really shows how the Switch 2 means business when it comes to running graphically intense games. Now, on the topic of how the game runs, it is really consistent for the most part, but there is 1 or 2 moments where the game can sort of chug. But it's a solid 95% of the time running completely fine. That is besides when you use the elephant, he really tanks the frame rate. But when it happens, it's always in sections where you're not really hindered by it, so it's alright I guess. Now to end off, I'd like to talk about the one big disappointment with this game that I have personally, and that's that I don't really like the post-game. What? While I enjoy all the final Bananza challenges, they really aren't the hardest thing ever, and I think they definitely could have been more challenging. But what really disappointed me was the lack of a post-game world. In Mario Odyssey, you got a Mario 64 inspired Mushroom Kingdom world for beating the game, and it's one of my favourites in that game. Here you just get the challenges and that's that. No DK Island, no location from Donkey Kong Country, and the place where you fight the final boss and would have made for a great final world. But It's nothing! So that would be my biggest flaw with the game, and as you could probably tell from everything I've said so far, I did love this game. Playing it from start to finish was a joy, and I was giddy from all the references, and how much of a labour of love it was to Donkey Kong as a franchise. But to bring it back to the question I started this video off with, is it better than Mario Odyssey? Well... So, Donkey Kong Bonanza or Mario Odyssey? Which is better?
Both is good.
Nah, but really it is a hard question. They both do certain little things better than each other. And while you can clearly see they were both made by the same developers, their approach to making these games were very different. Mario Odyssey is like a meticulously crafted game where everything is where it should be, and every challenge can only be approached in the same way. Whereas Donkey Kong gives you giant sandboxes with tons of things to find anywhere and everywhere, and you can basically tackle its challenges however you want. So if you love 3D platformers, do yourself a service if you can and give both these great games a try. They're two vastly different types of collectathons, and personally speaking, I love both of them, and if I were to give them a score, they'd both be a 10. However, as I said, they both have things they do better than the other. Like, Bananza has much more fun challenges in all the worlds alongside a much more fun character to control, and for what it's worth, a better story. Whereas Odyssey has much better post-game alongside a better soundtrack, and in my opinion it's more fulfilling to 100%. But then there are some things I also think they're pretty even in. They both have amazing worlds with a couple with missed potential, and they're both great love letters to their respective franchises. So there really isn't a better game between the two, as both of them are some of the greatest 3D collectathons you can play. But, gun to my head, if I absolutely had to pick one to save my two dogs' lives, I'd edge it to Odyssey. As for me, 100% in a collectathon is the best part of them, and its post-game worlds and challenges were a much more fun final experience for me. But I will say, just playing the game from start to finish, Bananza might have Odyssey beat, as its final boss definitely claps Odyssey's, though taking control of Bowser was really good too. So it's really close, but personally, I'm giving it to Odyssey. But thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and even a subscribe. I hear it increases your looks from a 10 to an 11, so there's advantages. But anyway, here's a goodbye from Bubbles, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.